Well, normally on any stage I'm the star, I'm the eye candy, I'm the man.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then I've got to just hand that mantle on because someone with a bit more juice wanders in. And I'm talking about the great Chris Judd, everybody. Put your hands together. Grand final specialist. How are you, mate?
I'm good, JB. Thanks for having me on. And we're excited about the game. I think you've got the two best teams in it.
You're handing over the Norm Smith medal. So I just want you to remember that it needs to be the winner of the Norm Smith medal, not the winner of the Chris Judd medal. Have you got a Ross Glendenning in you?
I'm handing it over. I'm not voting on it, technically, JB, but it does bring into question who has more power in that relationship, the people voting or the person that calls out the name. And there'll be some judges that do their votes, and that's cute. But we'll see what name gets read out. But it's hard to walk that back once it gets announced, Damien.
You couldn't rule that possibility out when we spoke to you about this a couple of weeks ago on the Friday huddle, and it is a live chance that you might just do a Ross Glendenning.
Sometimes you've got to put on your big boy pants and be courageous, Damien. And, I don't really want to turn it all about me today, but if I get that opportunity,
you wouldn't be the first to make it all about that. Don't worry about that.
Exactly.
What's the build-up been like? I think you West Coast boys often get together grand final week,
Yes, we were true to form, caught up with Cyclone Embley and Big Q Stick and a couple other Perth lads yesterday for lunch.
The big
Grill
Q.
Americano.
How's the big Q going?
He is in very good form and just has amazing staying power, Bill. I'm not sure if you've had a beer with Q Stick, but he'd be right at home with you and your buddies down there at Geelong.
Yep.
So, no, they were good. So, Grill Americano into Bar Bambi. A little bit of ugliness, JB.
I was going to say,
a little bit of ugliness.
Was it like Joel Garner in the late 70s? Did it get a bit big on you? Or?
Yeah, they got late early, put it that way. And, but anyway, it was a good night. And Mrs. was suitably wrapped when I came home.
She's home.
Gibberish.
It was like the West Coast Eagles in 2004 or 5 or 6.
Wasn't at that sort of level, Damien. No.
I saw Embers yesterday. He goes, "Hey, have you been to this joint called Bambi or Bar Bambi or something?" I said, "Yeah, I've been there." He goes, "Oh, boy."
Do you have any mates from Carlton?
Yes.
Because you always talk about the West Coast
Scored up with Jamo then, so I've got mates there.
You haven't got too many, but haven't you? Every story's about West Coast.
Went over to the Super Bowl with Murph this year, Billy.
Oh, right. So there's two. Yep.
We had Richard Pratt was his best mate there too.
Good man, Dick Pratt.
Nothing wrong with that.
Man.
Yes. And Beck's home, is she?
She's back. She's had a big few weeks away doing the amazing race and going on adventures, Bill. So she's back and operating the household at full capacity.
I saw her on the ads, and there was cow poo, and she had to put her hands in it and things like that. Like, I thought, how are you going to go here, Beck? But she had a crack at it.
She had a crack, cow poo, and there's a few other notable challenges, Bill, which I'm not sure if we're allowed to speak about yet. But it was one of those things. Her and her sister grew up watching the show, and it was their dream to do it. I couldn't get any worse than doing it, Bill. But they went off for a few weeks and did that, and they had a ball.
How'd you go with the stay-at-home dad? Did the kids get to school on time? Did they get fed?
I was 3 days into launching new business, Burns. It was a challenging 3.5 week period. I'm not going to lie. It had its moments, but we got through, and the kids are a lot better for it, Burn. They're a lot more able to do things on their own now. So no, we made it through.
And that launch of the business has gone well, as you were telling us last week.
4 months into Cerity, yes, that's good. Purple, we're a small funds management business, so far so good, but very early days.
Cerity.
Tell us about your mornings when you played in those incredible grand finals. Were you calm in the knowledge that you were best on show, or were you nervous?
I was a hyper anxious type when I was playing, and you hear their players now talk about enjoying the week and all that stuff, and that's just wasn't my point of view at all. I like to get a mental model about a situation you're going through, and once I've got that, I'm sort of at peace. So for me, it was coming back to that joke you have about two boys that come across a Canadian black bear in the woods.
Oh, hello.
Right? And the Canadian black bear's going to attack them.
Yep.
One of them drops to his knees and starts praying to God. The other one starts tying his shoelaces.
Yes.
And the guy praying to God goes to his mate, "You can't outrun a Canadian black bear." And he says, "I don't need to outrun the bear, I just got to outrun you."
Yeah.
And that was my mindset. Everyone was going to be nervous. You don't have to be unaffected by the nerves. You just got to be affected less than the 22 blokes on the other team. So I kept coming back to that, and that served
Every
me well.
time you went back to that, did you?
Went back to the Black Bears.
Remember that?
Remember that, Bill? Yeah. Now, Benny Cousins has been in town and looking fantastic. You caught up with him?
Cuz going great. Spoke to him yesterday. I might be catching up with him tonight. And I'm in Perth in a few weeks' time, so we'll see him then. But he's going great. He's healthy. He's coaching his son's footy team.
Bloody hell.
Got some work at a mining engineering company, doing some media, and he's going great. So everyone's wrapped for him.
What do you think about Lockie Neal? Now a two-timer, Brownlow, just like you. He's joined the ranks.
It was great. He's a star. He's a really deserving win. I would have loved to have seen the Bont win because I reckon he had a great year as well, but I just think Lachie Neal's the most brilliant player and a thoroughly deserving two-timer, and it's good to have him in the club.
Well, speaking of that club,
Yeah, how many?
I was in the room when Juddy won his second one, and we're talking about one of the all-time greats of the game, but I thought the second one was... Well, I thought he was lucky to just slide
just
through.
got over the line.
So I saw him afterwards, and he looked at me and he said, "You don't think I should have won that, Jim, do you?" I said, "I didn't think. I thought you had better years." His answer to me was, "This is more a lifetime achievement." This one.
Accumulation, you reckon?
I mean, I didn't like when people were criticising Neil for getting votes when he shouldn't have, because I thought they could scratch the surface on the Carlton Brown line. Perhaps I'd be next in line. But no, he's had a brilliant year, and I love him as a player. So well done.
What's going to happen? The 2 hours of the game.
I think Brizzy in a close one. I was up at Brisbane watching them last week, and they just incredibly even. They closed down the outlets so well for teams trying to switch it out of defence, and I think they can slow Collingwood down a little bit. I think they'll tag DeGoey, who was just outstanding last week, and I think Dunkley will be able to squash his influence to some extent. But yeah,
Which he did with Cripps last week.
He did. He's a bit of a
form.
star, Dunkley, but as I said at the start, I really do think we've got the two best teams, and hopefully it's a close one.
You must have been proud too, Juddy, of what Carlton ended up doing this year. I know you're not officially part of the board any longer, but you did have some key roles there, and the way they fought their way through, it was very impressive in the end.
It's great for the footy club, and just so nice to see Carlton fans so happy. You know, it hasn't been a heap to celebrate for an extended period, but you go up to Brisbane and the Melbourne game here, the joy that Carlton fans had, and just the way the club was able to stick together and stick fat, I thought was really mature. From the board to the admin to the coaches down to the playing group. Thought it was really admirable. I think they'll get a lot of confidence out of that going forward.
Well, speaking about blokes who were stars at one club and then superannuated themselves at Carlton, there's no doubt that's what Juddy did.
Yeah.
He just came
That's
along.
hurtful. That's not
top
true
up.
and hurtful.
It was
top up.
some of the most incredible stuff being piled in there I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Coming
Including
from everywhere.
You did the recycle bags.
he was some sort of recycling guru at some stage. He was involved in packaging.
Yeah, a jigsaw puzzle.
He was everywhere. But another man who did the same thing, Daisy Thomas. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, that's true.
He also managed to just get hold of Dick and say, "Listen, I need a bit of help."
What is he wearing, by the way? We'll
Not
talk
sure.
about that when he comes
Not
on.
sure.
Some custom-made
It was very mixed.
junk.
Very mixed.
He's not right, is he?
No, you were looking like Peter Andre before, Bill. You had the shirt
2.5 men.
unbuttoned down to your,
Peter Andre.
down to your belly button.
Hey, did you talk about during the week when your first game, when Chris Scott belted the crap out of you, and then you went to Brad Scott and he belted the crap out of you? That was, tell the people.
I had my first ever game against Brisbane. I line up on Chris Scott, which is just your worst nightmare
Yes.
as an 18-year-old. And the ball bounced, came in off the square, and what looked like another Chris Scott came sprinting across his brother, and he put my AC joint. I got up, ball went over my head, looking at the ball. Chris Scott elbowed me in the chin, split me open. Within 90 seconds, I had a busted AC joint, bleeding from my chin, and a cut that on a gash that I cut every day shaving for the next 5 years, Bill. Sitting in the forward pocket, drinks boy comes out to Chris Scott, gives him the drink bottle and says, Chris Scott takes a drink, looks at me and says, "Clean yourself up, you little bitch." And handed me the drink bottle. I sort of felt like I had Stockholm syndrome. On the one hand, you do need to clean yourself up, but on the other hand, it's emasculating grabbing that off Chris Scott. So in the end, took the drink, avoided eye contact, and squirted the chin, and it's always stayed with me.
And then a year later, had your breakout game when you managed to kick 5 goals in a quarter
Snuck a
against
couple
them,
in.
basically.
Snuck a couple in.
No, I have a list.
Should have handed him the water bottle back. Clean yourself up.
I love that. And those two brothers deny any of that ever happened.
Of course they
When you speak to them now, no,
Yeah,
ever.
no.
They're like Alan Border. Angriest cricketer ever. You see him now, I never said any of that.
Captain Grumpy.
Juddy, great to see you, mate. Enjoy the day, and great honour, too, to hand out the Norm Smith.
Thanks, gents. Good call.
Oh, no, mate.
Superstar Chris Judd.
Ah.